This feels like I've been waiting for this.
Yeah. For this moment.
I
remember you telling me about one of Eric LaRocca's previous stories that you've read before. But, when I asked us to talk about this story, it didn't click until I think you mentioned it.
Yeah.
That you had read their stories before.
So Eric LaRocca, I've known about since high school. So One of my friends was really into his story. Things have gotten worse since we last spoke, and other misfortunes. Mm-hmm. And I remember not reading it because I specifically knew the type of shit that my friend was into. And I was like, I feel like that shit might fuck me up. So I'm not going to read it until we started this podcast where I got stronger,
faster, better.
Exactly. And then I was like, I think I could handle it. And I read it. And even then I was like so disturbed by the ending of that book.
I remember this was during the time when we were doing just remote videos. I remember you called me, or we were just already talking, and then you were like, can I tell you about this story that I just read?
I think it was that one I told you about, because that's the one with the tapeworm.
Yes.
So I read that one. I've read the one, I don't remember what it was called. We Can Never Leave This Place.
Okay.
Is also a fucking really good one.
Yeah.
And I read another one. I think I've read You've Lost a Lot of Blood. I've read quite a few. And the fact that we're talking about this, honestly, because this is a compilation of short stories, I don't know which one out of all of these was Eric LaRocca's. Is it the first one?
Oh my God. Isn't it all just him?
No, weren't these several authors, or is this just his thing?
I'm pretty sure these are all him.
Oh, they are all him. Okay. Oh, they are all him. Okay.
Okay, because on the book cover,
it's all me.
It's just his name. So I was thinking, I hope there's not another author on here because I don't see their name.
Okay. He dedicated this for his friend Paul Tremblay, and I thought that was a character from his other book. So that's...
Isn't that an author?
I think he made him a character in his other book. That sounds really familiar to...
That's a horror author.
Yes, it is. But whoa. I'm getting a little scared. So,
why are you scared?
Because I don't know. It's like broke the fourth wall for me.
Oh my God. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure. They're the one who wrote the horror movie that we were supposed to review, but we never did.
Yes. Okay. That is Paul Tremblay. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm remembering the name of one of the characters.
Do you think reading, reviewing, discussing stories that are a little bit, let's say, disturbing could fix your life?
I hope so.
Welcome to an episode of the Book Fix Podcast, a podcast where we fix lives one book at a time, one short story at a time. I'm your host, Yajaira.
And I'm your host, Cheli. I'm a little sick. I just want to say that now. I'm not sick to the point where like I have a radio host voice, but I am sick to the point where like I might not remember some shit that I'm going to say.
It's okay.
So I'm going to try my best today.
It's okay, queen.
So today we are going to be talking about Eric LaRocca's The Skin Was Once Mine.
This Skin Was Once Mine. Mm-hmm.
And it is a compilation of several short stories.
Which I had no idea.
Me neither.
So I saw this book, I believe in Barnes & Noble, and I was thinking, oh, this looks interesting. Sent you the picture, the link, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And I was like, we should talk about this book. And so when I was reading this, come to the end of the first short story, I was like, wait. Pause for a second there. What do you mean we're going to move on to another story? Mm-hmm. So that was my experience. How was your experience?
I kind of knew, I didn't know, but I think Eric LaRocca has done this before, like had a compilation of short stories.
Okay.
So I was just kind of like, but I thought it was other authors. Now that it's all him, I'm just like, valid. Okay. I get it. I see it. Mm-hmm. Are we going to talk about every short story? Because there's only 4.
I think we can talk about them.
Some I'm going to talk about more than others.
Yeah. I think we can just start with the first one. Let's just see how this goes. I don't think we're going to spend too long with each story. But I do want to say trigger warning.
Yeah.
Dude, I was in shock in the first story.
Yeah.
Immediately when there was this fixation on self-harm, that whole scene really like took me out, honestly. I didn't expect it. I don't know if that's just their writing in general.
Yes.
There's okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a theme. Okay.
Well, yeah, Eric LaRocca is really good at putting you in the mind of the character, so it feels very disturbing because it's such an intimate thing when it's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like you said, trigger warning, because it does get really grotesque.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about the first story? It is called The Skin Was Once Mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to start off by saying I was so fucked up after finishing this one.
Dude,
specifically.
me too. I literally needed to pause. And also, I told my fiance this story immediately. I was like, I need you to just listen to this story. I'm going to tell you start to finish. And the whole time he was just like, what the fuck?
You know what's kind of funny though? Because the Eric LaRocca story that I read, the tapeworm one, which if you know, you know, but it always ends, his stories always end with like, you thought that was disturbing. No, this person is more disturbed.
Mm.
And it kind of puts you in like an, oh shit. Like now I just feel unsettled. Because this story follows our main character whose name is Jillian.
Yeah.
But we call Jay because we figure out that her dad
gave her the nickname Jaybird.
Yes.
And I remember there was a scene where she was like, why are you comparing me to a bird? Mm-hmm. But he like loved her and she remembers her dad very fondly.
Yes.
And it's the opposite with her relationship with her mother. So when she talks about her mother, she says that her mother abandoned her. Mm-hmm. Last time she talked to her, she was about like 6 years old. So it was a very long time ago. And she remembers vividly a moment when her mom was telling her dad, I just want her gone. I don't want her here in this house. I don't want to see her. I don't want to look at her. So in this moment, Jay is with a partner, Pia, and she gets a phone call. Mm-hmm. And in this phone call, it's a nurse named Ambrose. And Ambrose tells Jay, hey, you need to come home because your dad passed away.
Yeah.
And so I think we should just say this quickly. I know there's a lot with Pia, but let's just go quickly. So when she gets home, she kind of has this like weird moment of she hasn't seen her mom in a very, very long time. Mm-hmm. So when she goes to the bedroom where her mom is literally bedridden, she immediately leaves. And she's just like, why don't you tell me that she was, in a fucking oxygen tank? And
Ambrose is over here like, well, she's doing better than before. She's like, better than before.
Yeah, like
she looks like she's about to die. And it's like, no, it's, ever since that happened. And then she's like, what happened? It's like, that, the thing from 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And Ambrose is like, oh, fuck. Did your dad not tell you?
Yeah.
And then she comes to a realization like, wow, you actually know my family more than I know my family. So why don't you just tell me what happened? And Ambrose is like, your mom tried unaliving herself 20 years ago.
Well, it was the aunt who told her.
Was it the aunt? Oh, you're
At the funeral, remember?
No, Ambrose says it, but the aunt is the one who clarifies like this was 20 years ago because of the mental illness of it all. Mm-hmm. Okay. I thought it was really interesting though that she didn't even know how the dad passed away. So when she would ask people, whether it be Ambrose or the aunt that she sees at the funeral, her dad's funeral, they were all just kind of like, you don't know? Mm-hmm. You don't know? I feel like there was a lot of moments that were very frustrating because I was like, just fucking tell her. Just spit it out already. We didn't mention something, but she has a lot of flashbacks of her dad.
Oh, yes.
Throughout this story. And there was one specific one that was really close to the beginning of this story where I don't remember if it was a flashback actually, but there's a point where she thinks of the worst thing you can do to someone is keep them alive.
Mm-hmm. It was like a saying that the dad would tell her.
Yeah.
I think I have it in here. The worst thing a person can do after they've hurt you is let you live. That's how you truly and unmistakably destroy another human being.
So what I thought this story was going for was I thought she was going to keep the mom alive.
Oh my God. I had the exact thought too. Because we'll get there. But there was a moment where she was going to take over taking care of the mom. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my gosh, that poor woman is going to be tortured.
Yep.
That's where I thought the story was going to go.
Mm-hmm. So that was my thought process. But then in one of the flashbacks, there's like this trigger warning. There's like a lot of disgusting things mentioned. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to say this. Like
I don't know which part you're going to say.
Predatory nature towards children. So just trigger warning. Yes. If you can't handle that, maybe skip this episode. Mm-hmm. There's this point where her and her dad are talking and it's mentioned that his hand like travels lower. And then at that point, I was like, this guy's fucking shit.
Yeah.
This guy's disgusting. And it continues to be like that where in her mind, she sees it as like, it's my dad and he loves me. She never really mentions the sexual undertones. Mm-hmm. But there's moments like that or moments where he will lean in and whisper things into her ear. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of like, does she not?
And then also she would remember him telling her one day it's just going to be you and me. Mm-hmm. You know, this is your house, because obviously she was kicked out by the mother at a very young age. So she has these memories of her dad being like, no, it's you and me. You're my family till the day we die. And it's just like, she only remembers him very fondly.
Mm-hmm. So when she goes to see her mom for the first time and actually speaks to her, Jay gets mad because the mom is grabbing all of the dad's things and is going to burn it all. Like she told Ambrose, like, go get a lighter and a match. Like I want all of his stuff.
There's like a whole pile of stuff that the dad just kind of like compiled. Mm-hmm. He's a hoarder, I think. I don't really know. Yeah. And so there's like a pile of his stuff that is meant to be burned. But the mom didn't do it though. Isn't she bedridden?
She's bedridden. She asked Ambrose to do it.
Okay.
So I know Jay gets really mad. So at this point, we're just kind of seeing like, wow, she fucking hates her mom. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, her dad's a horrible person.
But she's not saying that. And then also, don't you remember when she first finally spoke to her mom was like, we can finally be together. Yeah. We're safe now. And so it's alluding to the dad being weird, but the main character, Jay, isn't like grasping it. She's just like, all right, anyway, I'm leaving. Mm-hmm.
So
and then she wants her to stay, remember? Mm-hmm. She wants her to just stay in this house now.
Because I feel like there's something in this home. Mm-hmm. That's what the mom says.
Yeah.
So I think it's at the dad's funeral is where she learns that Ambrose is kind of like the gossip within the family. Because it's kind of like, don't you see that he only wears Gucci? And this is not going to get to you.
Yeah.
Well, it showed up in Crocs, but it wasn't any Crocs. It was Balenciaga Crocs. Do you not see what we're seeing? And then
I think it was the Tia who was like, man, have you seen the way Ambrose just fucking dresses up anywhere he goes? Mm-hmm. I don't even wear that shit.
Yeah. And the other day he came home with pants, Balenciaga pants. You think it's for your mom? They were in men's size.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But I think it's frustrating because I just want Jay to understand how shitty her dad is. But when she goes to confront her mom and the mom's just kind of like, oh, he's taking my money. Yeah, well, he helped me a lot. So yeah, it's fine if he takes the money. And the first thing Jay says is like, you don't get it though. He's taking dad's money.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. She was so frustrating.
Yeah.
She loved her dad.
So one day she's over here looking through the house. Mm-hmm. And is it a basement that she goes to?
Yeah, it's a basement.
And I don't understand. How big was this trunk?
I think it was small, no?
It sounds like a treasure chest.
Yeah, that's how right? I pictured it too. But I'm picturing it that there's bars though. Like there's an opening, right? Because how was food being slipped in?
You're right. I feel like it looked concealable. So maybe if someone found it accidentally, it's just a chest, you know. But maybe there are some openings somewhere. Yeah. But she opens this chest and there's just a girl in there.
A young girl.
Can I say the most disgusting thing about this interaction is that when she was asked, how long have you been in here?
Oh, God.
Her first response was like, oh, I'm 18. And that kind of feels rehearsed.
Yeah.
Did you get that?
I got that too. I was like, this is disgusting.
Yeah. So this girl was like, hey, is the man coming back?
Yeah, she was frantic. She was like, oh my God, is he coming back? Is he coming back? And fucking Jay was being so annoying. She was like, who coming back? Mm-hmm. Ambrose? I didn't trust that bitch from the start. It was so infuriating.
But she did figure out at this point too that Ambrose knew about this chest.
Yeah.
But she was like, no, I'm talking about the other man. The man that named me, my name Jay. Mm-hmm. She was like, Jillian's like, hold on, I'm Jay.
Yeah, there can only be one Jay around here.
I already knew what was going on with this shit.
Me too.
So
me too. But it being confirmed later on, I was so grossed out.
Yeah. So this girl has been living in this chest since she can remember, and talks about how,
dude. And then also, sorry, trigger warning. It was also gross to think that she just had like brown spots on her from just like her period just drying over the years. Yeah. Because wait, what does main character Jay do? Because she helps her out, right, to go use the bathroom, but the bathroom right there, like the little bucket.
Yes. And then I think she brings her food the first time too. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards is like, okay, hop back in the chest.
Oh my God. When that happened, I was like, what the fuck?
But throughout the story too, Jay keeps repeating to herself, main character Jay, if my dad was a monster, I was too.
Yeah. What does that make me? A monster. And then it just threw me off when she was like, get back in the cage or trunk, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'll call her Jillian, main character. Jay is the other girl. Mm-hmm. Jay was just like, what do you mean? What do you mean go back inside? She's like, well, that's what dad wanted. So get back in. That's what he wanted.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
So when confronting Ambrose, she basically figures out that the kid in the trunk has been there for 20 years, and that's the daughter that Jillian's mom thought she lost. Mm-hmm. Which just goes to show how fucking disgusting this dad is. Yeah. Because it was a kept secret between the dad and Ambrose that this girl was just there.
Mm-hmm. What the fuck?
And this is what pushed the mom to want to unalive herself 20 years ago.
Yeah, but then also Ambrose tells Jillian, oh, because, your dad was unhappy that he couldn't keep you to himself. Mm-hmm. So he wanted to keep Jay to himself. I'm so grossed out.
I know.
Can I just say, I've never had a reading experience. Well, I have. But, because this is like 5 stories, I think. Yeah. Where I just like want to crawl into myself. Where I'm just like, ugh.
That's most
gross.
That's most Eric LaRocca experiences. I think he's really, really good at disturbing his readers. And it's frustrating more because it, like I said, it always seems like, although this person's disturbed, our main character is even more disturbed than that person. Yeah. Because never in the story does Jillian have a moment where she's like, wait, hold on. My dad was kind of disgusting. Wait, I do want to help this girl. Yeah. She doesn't have that. Mm-mm. And throughout this story, when she's learning all about her dad, learning about the shit that her mom went through, she never has a moment where she's just kind of like, wait, I don't see him as I used to see him. Yeah. And so I don't remember what happens. Oh, I think Ambrose catches her trying to take Jay.
No, Ambrose hits her in the back of the head after she says, I'm gonna tell my mom about him stealing money, not about Jay. She doesn't care about Jay. And Ambrose was planning on burning down Jillian with the house, which Jay is in. With and also all of the Jay stuff. Though. Well, because when Jillian woke up, she woke up in the middle of this pile of stuff that her dad had accumulated. And she looks over and she sees Jay right there next to her with blood on her head, like as in she's been hit too. And I fucking can't with the fact that Jillian over here picks up her sister, manages to stab Ambrose, throws him in this burning pile. And then she looks at her sister and is like, all right, get back in the bunker, I think is what she called it. In the trunk, get back in. And she's just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like, well, it's what Dad would have wanted.
So we have to.
Yeah, we have to respect his wishes.
Yeah.
And then you see Jay just like kind of look at the thing that Ambrose was stabbed with. Mm-hmm. And she hurries over and stabs Jillian in the shoulder. Mm-hmm. And how does this story end?
So Jillian wakes up and now she's in the trunk. And now the roles have flipped. And it was so fucking eerie because Jay feeds Jillian through this little fucking bar that's there. I don't know exactly what the trunk looks like, but there's like a little hole where she can feed her. So she's feeding her, doesn't want to let her out because she knows she'll be overpowered by her. So she's just like, well, now you're just going to stay here. And the way that it ends is that she basically says the line that the dad said to her, which is if you love something and then you hurt it.
Yeah.
So what was it?
To
again?
keep it alive.
To keep it alive, yeah. Because now Jillian is aware that, oh, she's going to keep me alive.
It sucks too because I was hoping that this would be a happier ending because of the whole snake thing, where snakes will shed their old skin and become new. Mm-hmm. So you're you, but you're changed. So I was hoping it would change for the better, but they changed for the worse.
Yeah,
and it sucks because there was so many moments in this where our main character Jillian, like her almost girlfriend situationship with Pia. Mm-hmm. Pia does message her when she's on her trip and is like, I really want to fix what's happening between us. Please call me. Mm-hmm. And there's a moment where she could have just turned back. Like, this isn't my shit to deal with. I'm just going to go. She could have done that. Mm-hmm. But she chose to continue to like spiral in this house. This was a really good story.
It was.
I really, really, really like this one.
Crazy.
If you had to rate this one out of 5.
Probably like a 4.5.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat too. I'm just mad at the fact that Jillian just never realized. I wish she would have just well, maybe she did realize because she did call herself a monster as well. Mm-hmm.
But I wish that there would have been a moment where she was like, damn, this shit wouldn't have happened if I would have just, been a good sister. I don't know. Like now that she's in the cage, she could be like, well, damn, this isn't fun, actually.
Well, did we hear? Yeah, because we didn't hear Jillian's thoughts after the cage, right?
I don't remember.
She was just in there.
She was just stuck there, and she knew she was going to be in there forever. But my question is, what's going to happen to the mom? Is Jay going to go up there and be like, hey, Mom, hey. Remember me?
I don't know, because would she even know who she is?
No. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Because I'm guessing she's unrecognizable with having lived there for so long.
And I mean, the mom did have a feeling that there was something in the house, but I don't think she could have imagined that it was her daughter. Mm-hmm. It's so sad.
So what do you think the point of this one is? Because I feel like all these stories have to connect with the title, which is The Skin Was Once Mine.
Well, this was the only story that had this whole theme of, snakes have to shed their skin because of parasites. Mm-hmm. But I feel like she's a fucking parasite, so I don't really know.
Because I was under the impression when I had hopes and dreams, I was under the impression that this one was going to be her reclaiming herself. Like, yeah, my dad might have taken my childhood, but I'm my own person now and I'm going to move forward instead of being stuck here. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where I was seeing this. But then she is literally stuck there. So what did she reclaim?
I don't know.
So
when I read the title and then when I was getting into the story, I thought This Skin Was Once Mine was going to have to do with this body once belonged to me, but someone else tried to defile it, basically. So I thought that was what the theme was going to go with, but now, once I was more into the story, I was like, wait, I'm so confused.
Well, I think Eric LaRocca's biggest thing is just to kind of disturb. So you did that.
Good job. Okay, so I think, because we've talked about the first story for so long, I think we should just quickly sum up our thoughts of okay, let's pick another story that we really want to discuss. And the other ones we could just quickly...
Okay.
Quickly say a summary and just
sounds
thoughts.
Good. I feel like we could go through these, but they're going to be a lot faster.
Okay. So seedling. Go ahead.
So Seedling, very similar to the first one, where our main character, he's this man. I'm not going to remember the names.
Returning home. Oh my God. Same as the first one, like you said.
Yeah. Returning home and gets a phone call from...
No, he's returning home because he had received a phone call from his dad letting him know that his mom had passed away. And so he looks over to his spouse and is like, hey, I have to go home because my mom died. So.
Yeah. And so when he goes home, he just feels a little awkward because, of course, he doesn't want his dad to stay there alone with like a body while the hospice workers are like trying to handle everything. But he also doesn't have a close relationship with his dad.
Yeah.
So just the idea of like, maybe me and Clyde can stay here. He's just like, I don't fucking want to stay here.
Yeah.
So he convinces the dad to allow him, or like he convinces the dad to pack a small luggage and he's going to stay with,
the dad is going to stay with the son and his spouse. But the dad is like, you don't have much space for me, but okay.
We'll make space.
But also the dad kept bringing up, I want you to go see your mother and pay your respects. You know, this is the last moment you're going to have with her. Make it count. But he doesn't want to because he wants to remember her as she was when she was alive.
Exactly. So in this story, when he's walking around the house, he looks down at his hand and he has this injury that doesn't have blood in it. It just kind of looks like a hole.
Isn't it when he's outside?
Yeah, it's like when he tries walking away.
Like when he tries leaving the house because he left the house to call his husband, Clive, to let him know, hey, we're going to go over. Okay, cool. Love you. And that's when he noticed the wound in his palm.
Yes.
So it was just a hole, right?
Yeah. And he goes back inside and I think he bandages it. He doesn't want to tell his dad about it, but he bandages it and that's that. So when he goes into the room where his mom's at, and he is like, he's kind of walking around the room, not looking at the mom. The dad comes in and he says, I think of it like a plant. Like it is something that has always been there and with time has blossomed. And at this point, it kind of seems...
But wasn't that being alluded to people? Like the mom? Because now it's like, oh, now she's a dead plant and people will have to still take care of it.
Yes. But it was... The way that he worded it, I think what the dad's intention was like the cancer itself wasn't taken care of, you know? So it was a part of her. It was something we can never get rid of. And now people have to tend to it. And the son gets mad because it's like, what? So now that she's dead, she's something that needs to be tended to. Like she's just kind of what's the word?
Burden.
A nuisance. Yeah. A burden to like the people around her. I don't remember exactly how this goes, but the reason I wanted to talk about this one is because it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, it is disgusting.
So there's a point where he's like holding his dad's hand or his dad's
Wasn't
shoulder?
it when they were trying to leave? Like I feel like these wounds appeared because they were trying to leave the house.
Yes, but the first time he sees his dad's wound is when the dad is with the mom and he's trying to tell his dad like, come on, we gotta go. And he holds on to his dad and then he feels himself touching the wound. And at this point, because the dad is so like, his attention is on the wife, the son takes this time to like touch the wound and kind of like pull it and make it bigger.
The dad's wound. The dad has a wound on his wrist.
Because he sees that when he opens up the wound, there's like these like little tendrils that come out.
I'm sorry, I'm just grossed out.
It's disgusting.
Yeah,
So the reason I wanted to talk about this is because it seems like these wounds start to like itch when they're trying to leave the house. And there's a point where they're in the car and they're leaving to the son's home. And the son is just kind of like, I know my mom's dead. I know my dad's depressed. But I really just want to touch that wound.
The wound, yeah.
And so
it was like addicting to him.
Dude, I needed to like pause the audiobook when he was like, Dad, look away. Because I was like, what the fuck are you gonna...
Oh my God.
So the dad does look away and it's described, his face is described as like he's crying.
He's like in pain because at that point he had already like hella
stretched the wound. And it's explained that like he has like his whole arm in there. And he feels like this is the closest he's ever been to his dad. So then he opens his wound and tells his dad to put his hand in there.
What the fuck? Okay.
So, whoa. I don't know what the point of that is. Like, what is this? What is this story trying to tell me?
I think... Okay, so
it seems wrong.
It feels very wrong, but I think this is just... Is this supposed to be about parenthood? I don't know. He's like over here fucking trying to get in there, you know what I mean? I don't know. But then also, like, this whole time, the dad is grieving the mother and the main character doesn't want to see the mother. So instead, let me focus on ripping my dad open. You know what I mean? Like, is it supposed to be he's emotionally ripping him open?
Because there was also a point where the dad talks about the son and they talk about not being close. And the dad was like, well, you know, because of your choices, because the son is gay. It's like, because of your choices, your life is going to be a little harder.
Yeah.
You know, so I thought it was like them understanding each other, but then it was taking it too far. So when they return back to the home where the mom is at and the hospice workers aren't there, the dad lays down next to the mom, and then the son also lays down with the parents. And then the tendrils, I think the son pulls back the wound again and allows his dad to like wrap himself up with the mom.
But wasn't it at that point the main character's wound was pretty much almost closing or closed, and the dad's was still there? And so it was just him opening the dad's wound?
It kind of feels like the main character got to show who he was, but the dad never... I don't know, because it kind of feels like I opened up, so it's closed now.
Yeah.
But he didn't finish opening up because of, I don't know, whatever. Him losing his wife was like a huge thing to him.
So he's still grieving.
But then it's weird because then at the end of this story, the police come and the police are like, yeah, we found you on the floor with a knife. And you were kind of just etching things on the floor. And then when we went to go see what you did to your parents, the limbs are just kind of like knotted together. So the tendrils weren't even there.
They weren't there, no. So basically the way that they described it was when they tried to pull the parents apart, like they literally had to crack the bones because they were so tightly knotted together. That's disturbing.
What was the point?
I don't know.
Because this story was called what? Seedling?
Seedling, yeah.
What was he trying to do?
Okay, let's go back to the point, the plant. It has to be about plants, right?
Yeah.
Plants, when they don't grow well, they get intertwined.
So did he just want his family to continue to be like... Was that him fixing his family?
Maybe, but then the dad is dead at the end, right?
Yeah.
But I don't understand if this just was like a psychosis thing, because it felt like the dad also saw the wounds, but the main character took it way too far.
Did the dad see the wounds? Because he never mentioned it. He looked away when they was touched.
True. But then, okay, so when they were in the car and he was, you know, opening the wound in the dad's wrist and the dad was crying, looking away, does that mean that he was actually opening up a wound in him?
Like he was talking about something? Or was he like...
No, like literally. Like he was literally cutting him.
I have no idea.
Or do you think it was like an
where did he put his hand?
Emotional wounds?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know either. I think this is all just like...
It could have been like you said, a moment of psychosis.
Maybe.
And after his episode, he's like, what the fuck did I do?
Well, maybe the ending was a moment of psychosis, but, you know, in the car, maybe they were just talking about their feelings, you know, maybe. But see, that's me trying to make it a little lighter because the story was fucked up. So honestly, I think this story is just about shared grief and not processing that grief. And then I don't understand the obsession of him wanting to get into his dad, but maybe it was because he was never close to his dad. And there was even a moment when his dad was kind of said like an off comment to him, right? I don't remember what it was, but So maybe that's why he was so like, once he went into his dad, he was like, damn, let me just keep going deeper.
You know what though? Out of all 4 stories, I like this one a lot, but it didn't land because I don't see the intention of this story.
I kind of do.
I just wish there was a little more clarity.
Yeah, there's no clarity in any of these stories. What are you talking about?
I know. I don't know. I wish there was a little more to this one.
I was so grossed out. So I don't. I did not want more to this story.
What do you give this one? Out of 5? I'm going to say a 3.
3.5, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know.
Next one. All the parts of you that won't easily burn.
Dude, this story was so fucking disgusting.
So this man.
Can I just say, out of all of the stories, this story I had to skim during certain parts because I could not handle the obsession of you know what. Go ahead, Cheli, explain the story.
So our main character, he goes to a little shop and he goes to the shop owner and is like, hey, he has like a index card of things his husband wrote. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, my husband, we're having a dinner and he is gonna cook something and he needs a knife. Like a good one. A
good one, because we're hosting a family dinner, so I want to impress my guests.
And then the owner of the store is like, okay, what is he cutting though? Because knives cut different things. I just want to know. And he's like, fuck, I'm not prepared. Okay, I'll just come back another time. And he's like, no. I got a knife for you. We'll find one. And so he shows him this knife.
Flag.
He shows him this knife and he's like, look at this. Look at this beauty. Look at it. And it looks expensive. Mm-hmm. And the main character is like, how much does it cost? It's like, why is everyone so worried about price lately?
Are you broke?
We don't accept broke bitches here. Get out. No, he's like.
And then the knife had like a little gem on it too. Yeah. So it just made it look extra expensive.
Mm-hmm. So then he tells the main character, like, I really, I want to help you. I want you to take this knife home. And the main character is like, okay, how much does it cost? He's like, I'll tell you what, I will let you take this knife if you just let me cut you a little bit, just like a little bit, just a little incision. And then I'm just going to put a piece of glass in you. And that's it. And you can take the knife. The knife is yours. And I'll make sure it doesn't hurt. And at the end of the day, go ahead and take out that piece of glass.
So it doesn't get infected.
Mm-hmm. And the main character is like, what the fuck?
But like it sparked something in him. He was like, wait, this is so dangerous and sexy. Okay, do it.
Well, at first he kind of thinks of it like, I'm intrigued. Like, I'm interested. Mm-hmm. It isn't until it actually happens where he talks about like the way he looks at the owner is kind of like a lover.
Yeah.
And he's like,
so intimate.
But he also thinks like, but I love my husband. This is weird. So the man does it. He cuts him. He puts a little piece of glass and then he cleans up the knife, gives it to him. And when the main character goes home to his husband, shows him the knife, and the husband's like, oh my gosh, how much was it? And he's like, it's good, right? Like, don't worry about that. You don't have to worry about the price. Mm-hmm. And it's just weird because, first of all, he does not take out the piece of glass.
No, he becomes almost like infatuated with the idea of the glass just staying in him.
And I hate it because the next day when the husband goes to work, he's taking a shower and he's just touching his wound.
I can't. Can we skip this one? I fucking can't with this story. This story is disgusting.
It's disgusting because it does become like a sexual thing. And I'm going to speed through the story then. So he goes back to the store because it turns out that knife was a piece of junk. Like the little.
Oh my God. When the husband said that knife sucked.
What?
I was shocked. I was like, no fucking way.
Excuse me, my man. I mean, the register man.
The cashier promised me a good knife.
Yeah. And so he's like, oh, no, it's fine. I'll just take the knife back and whatever. I'll just.
Don't worry about it.
Whatever. And so he goes again. And the guy's like, you like that piece of glass, don't you? And it's like, maybe. What if I did? So there's like a lot of strangers that come into the store and he's like, you might want to stay for this. We're going to have a little meeting. I want you to be part of it. And it's just these people that are also turned on by glass being in them. So the main character gets to see all these people put like glass gets put in them and they're like touching themselves. And then when it gets to him, he's just like, oh my God, it's going to happen again. And they skip him. And he's just so embarrassed. I didn't want it anyway.
I already have one in me.
Yeah, I have one already. It's dumb and stupid anyway. No, but when everyone leaves, the owner's like, you're not part of the club yet. You have to bring someone that also wants to do this.
It's giving pyramid scheme. Thank you.
So then the main character is like, fuck, the fucking dinner party's tomorrow. And I have to bring someone tomorrow. So he goes in search for someone and he finds a guy who is scared of fire. And so the main character is like, oh my gosh, this man's a loser. Of course I'm going to bring him. So then he's like, oh yeah, I'm scared of fire too. And you know, I used to be really scared. I used to turn off my mom's candles and shit. But there's one thing that worked for me when I was scared of this shit. And he takes out the knife. It'd be funny. He super glued the gem back on.
Oh my God.
No, but he takes out the knife. He cuts himself, puts a little piece of glass in it. And the guy's like, what the fuck? And it's like, you don't get it. You want me to try with you? Like, I'll promise I'll make sure it doesn't hurt that much. And he does it to this guy. And this guy gets turned on. Crazy. Yeah. And then he tells the guy, like, there's some people I want you to meet. You want to come with me to this thing? And he takes him to, you know, whatever, the club. They do the glass thing. Everyone gets turned on. The guy's like, my turn. And then they skip him and he's embarrassed.
And the guy who brought him is like, loser.
I know. Can't be me.
Not me, though, because they love me around here.
Yeah, they call me the glass man, you know, whatever. So this basically is supposed to be the end. They're supposed to go separate ways, happily ever after, you know. But then this new guy, the fire dude, he's just like, I can't be alone right now. Like, I don't want to go home to an empty house. So can you please, let's just have a drink together and just call it that. But do you notice at this point, for the first time, the glass starts to feel uncomfortable in his arm?
Yeah, he doesn't like it anymore. Good. Finally.
So then when he goes over to this man's house, this man is like, he gives him a drink, first of all. And then by the time he's drinking this, our main character starts to feel kind of out of it. And this guy's going off like, you know, I was thinking about it. It's like, I'm so glad I met you, because usually people that I open up to, they don't like me. And I know the perfect person I'm going to take to this meeting. And he opens his closet and there's just like a bald man in there.
Dude, I couldn't.
And this man is like acting like a pet. And he has a lot of burn marks on him.
Yeah.
And then this guy goes like, well, I figured out a way to conquer my fear of fire is also to inflict fire on other people. So he starts to burn our main character. And our main character can barely move, but has enough movement to bite this dude. And gets the knife that he was doing the glass thing with and just kills this man brutally.
Yeah.
And then the dude, the bald guy who's just on the floor acting like a pet, has now claimed our main character as like his owner. So our main character is walking home with blood and the knife and this dude following him on the floor, this naked man. And when he shows up to the house
at the dinner party,
the husband's like, are you
good?
Yeah, darling, are you okay? And how does it end?
Quién sabe? Who knows? I think
I could check.
If I were to guess, does he burn the house down? I don't remember.
Enoch starts to laugh. That's the name of our main character.
Enoch. Yeah.
As if on the verge of sobbing, as if the agony, the anguish could spill. And then he goes into the kitchen, shatters a wine glass, and says to himself, and picks up one of the little pieces and is looking at it. And he says to himself, and to think all this for a knife. So I kind of thought that this story was like talking about cheating. You know, I thought that was the biggest point of it, and how like it felt good at first.
And then it came back to bite you.
It came back to bite you because with like the owner, there was no commitment to it. But with the dude in the fire, there was commitment because he had to go home with him. And it's just kind of like, this isn't fun anymore. Like, the thrill was that it happens and I get to go home to my loving husband, Cedric.
Yeah.
But with you now, we have to talk. Like, we have to have more.
I agree with you, because then there was also a moment when, you know, he was super excited to go back to the shop owner. And he was like, oh, I just don't feel this way with my husband. You know, it's been so long since I felt this lust for someone, or this excitement for something. So, yeah, I didn't really think about what the theme was. I just thought,
even when
fucked up.
Even when he went to the house of the fire dude, like the whole time he was like, you want to do the glass thing? You want to do the glass thing? And it's like, no, I don't really want to. And
it's hurting.
Because it kind of just felt like sex. It's like, do you want to do this?
Yeah, but then what do you think this other person that was introduced means?
Who, the bald man?
The bald man who was like his pet, basically.
I just kind of feel like now it will forever follow him around. You know, like what he has done. There's the evidence of it. Like, it's something that's disgusting. And because, I mean, that would look kind of disgusting if you walked around with someone who was just like naked and acting like a pet. I feel like it looks disgusting to others and everyone will always know. And it's like, was it worth it?
And people are now aware of what's happening.
So the fact that he ends it with like, all because of a knife, it kind of just feels like all because I wanted to lust. That's
or feel that small moment of excitement because it was something new. I fucking hated this story.
Wow.
I despised this story.
I didn't mind this one.
Well, that's good. I'm so happy for you.
Why'd you hate it?
Are you serious right now? I couldn't. Oh my God. I was so fucking uncomfortable the whole time when he was like, this fucking piece of glass in me. So yummy. So delicious. I love it. When he was playing with it.
It just made me sad too because he had a really good husband.
Girl, who cares? I don't. The husband, he's luckier now that he realized what lengths. What's his name? Enoch?
Yeah.
Enoch would go to
Isn't Enoch a religious name?
Oh my God. Yeah, because of
Angels and Man.
That was a name, right?
Yeah. I forget who he is. It's like the flood guy, right?
I don't remember.
We're not.
I don't remember.
Okay, but I think overall I'd give this one like a 4.
No.
You
1.
give it a no?
I give it a no, thank you. Thank you, Eric. But no, fucking thank you. I'm just kidding. I'd probably give it like a 1, maybe.
Okay. The one I least want to talk about.
Prickle. That's so funny. That's the least you want to talk about.
Old men. I don't care about old men. I'm sorry to all the old men listeners out there.
I don't think. Well, who knows? Honestly,
who knows?
Okay, let's sum this up a little bit faster because I feel like that last one you gave way too many details.
Sorry, it's because I cared about it a lot.
Too much detail.
Go ahead. 2
old men love playing weird ass games together.
One of them loves the other old man, but then the one who doesn't love him is like, "Hold up, I don't want to talk about that."
No, I thought it was like a joke because one of them, Mr. Sparrow, Mr. Sparrow, and Mr. Chester.
I think so.
Okay, well, whatever. I don't remember which one though. But let's say Mr. Sparrow was like, "Damn, Mr. Chester really likes me. It's a little weird."
Yeah.
That he like thinks about me fondly, and for some reason they're gonna separate. I don't remember. Didn't care to remember
because one of them is gonna be sent to a home.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
But wasn't Mr. Chester also thinking, "Oh, he's just so in love with me"?
Yeah, but there was also a point where he was actually gonna confess. And then that's when he was like, "Oh, do you remember that game we used to play, Prickle?" Like, it felt like he didn't want it to be said. But I don't know why that was ever mentioned.
I felt like it was a joke. I don't know. But maybe not. I mean, maybe they do love each other. Who knows?
Yeah.
But then Prickle is thank you. Thank you, Queen. Prickle is essentially a game that they would play that feels like would go too far. And it does go too far.
Yeah.
So I believe it's Mr. Chester who goes first. And you have to do this dare or else you forfeit and you lose and you're a loser. And so Mr. Sparrow tells Mr. Chester, go to that little old lady over there in the bench and prick her on the back of her arm.
Yep.
So then it's like this whole fucking scene of Mr. Chester being her friend, talking to her, oh my God, wait, there's wasps around here. Be careful, okay? And then he has like a needle hiding in his pocket, I think. And then he's like, oh my God, close your eyes because there's a wasp right here. And she's just like, pobrecita, like she's so scared. And then he stabs her in the back of the arm, drops the needle, like throws it somewhere behind her. And he like went too deep because I think he really hurt her. But he's like, oh, are you okay?
Sorry, I actually gotta go. I'm allergic to wasps.
Yeah, I gotta go because now I'm scared. So he leaves. Mr. Sparrow is like, okay, cool, love that.
But Mr. Chester, he like is laughing.
Yeah.
Like he found this like really, really funny.
No, not yet though. Because he's just like, oh my God, that was so scary. But I mean, see, I still got it. I'm still good and Gucci. Because don't you remember he didn't want to do it at first?
Yeah.
But then Mr. Sparrow was like, come on, just fucking do it already. So then Mr. Chester tells Mr. Sparrow, go to that old man over there, break his cane.
And he does go over there, but the difference is when Mr. Sparrow goes, he actually feels kind of bad because he's hearing the story about this guy and he's like, yeah, I'm just getting old.
Because, I mean, you have to befriend them in order to, be close enough to do any of these actions.
And it sucks because he is talking to this man, learning about how like age is kind of getting to him. And when he breaks the cane, he just kind of sees this man like is sad. Like he's upset about it. And he's just kind of like, oh.
But he does it in a way where he's just like pretending like he's like fucking feeling lightheaded. So he leans on the cane and pushes down. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just felt so lightheaded. I'm so sorry. And I mean, obviously the other guy was just like, oh, it's okay. But he really needed that fucking cane. So when Mr. Sparrow goes back to Mr. Chester, it was kind of just like, okay, well, that's enough because he's over it. You know, he felt really bad.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, let's call it a day. We're done. But Mr. Chester's like, no way. We can't just leave it there. Yep. We're tied now. Mm-hmm. We have to do we have to do the tiebreaker because, one of them is going to a home.
Yep.
And they don't want to leave things off like this. Mm-hmm. So what was the last dare, Cheli?
Mr. Chester was asking Sparrow to go feed a pebble to this baby. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Sparrow was like, no, I'm not doing that. Let's just end this here. And then it's funny because Chester's like, oh my gosh, you got me tied up here. Fine, I'll do it. And it's like, no one's daring you to do this.
Yeah.
But he sees Mr. Chester walk up. And while the moms aren't looking, is trying to get this baby to eat this rock, a pebble. And when the parents turn around and they start screaming at him, he picks up the baby and throws the baby in a river. Mm-hmm. And he just starts laughing.
Like he's cackling. Like this is the funniest shit ever.
How does this story end?
Just like that he can't stop laughing.
Fuck. What did you think about this one?
I think I liked it more than the last one. But then when he flung that poor baby in the lake, I was like, no.
I didn't understand why he did that.
Bitch.
Because they were pretty good at covering up. Like, oh, sorry, I was doing this instead.
I think he just really wanted to have that wow factor, go above and beyond. Oh, you know how it ended? The baby sunk down because of the pebble.
Oh, yeah.
So sad.
Yeah. That is
what
really
the
sad.
fuck, man? This old man just could not stop laughing.
Well, he was going to get sent to a home. They said he wasn't okay.
Yeah.
So it kind of shows. And this is the one that was in love. He loved him.
Yeah, I think Mr. Chester was in love with Mr. Sparrow. Maybe, allegedly.
I'd like to believe he was.
I don't know, because then wouldn't the dares be more like, I dare you to kiss me?
It's crazy.
Why weren't the dares like,
don't kiss me?
I dare you to take your best friend out on a date. I mean, there's just me around here with a bunch of strangers.
He's like standing on his right and he like moves. I dare you to take the person on your right to a date. I don't know.
Crazy thought. I mean, we should have seen the love a little bit clearer, but.
Well, all of Eric LaRocca's stories have LGBTQ.
Oh, you're right. Things. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, yeah, Mr. Chester was probably in love with Mr. Sparrow.
But I don't see what that had to do with anything. I don't see what.
Maybe because he was so in love with him, he really wanted to impress him.
But Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Oh, because that kind of makes it worse because then it's very disturbing.
But I mean when you grow old, you become more like a child. So, children, a lot of the times they don't know how to handle their feelings.
Yeah,
so I don't know. That's just my thought, but I could be wrong.
Overall, what did you think about this book?
Oh, what did you rate this one? The story?
I would probably like a 2. I didn't really care for this one.
I'd probably get a 1.
Yeah.
I would give it a 1 for that ending. Because what the fuck?
Overall, what did you think about this book and all these compilations?
I thought, this is my first Eric LaRocca story. So I felt like they did a really good job with making me feel very disturbed, very uncomfortable. I felt really uncomfortable many times. I don't think I would read them again, though.
Would you ever read another Eric LaRocca book?
No, I don't think so. Not willingly, no.
It makes me a little sad because there's some that I would really want to talk about.
It's not my cup of tea.
Everyone in the comments, please ask Yajaira to read every Eric LaRocca book. No. There's just that one I want to talk about.
Please don't.
Well, at least I could call you and tell you about that.
Which one do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the tapeworm one. And the VR one. The one where, to whoever is watching this and has read Eric LaRocca, the one where this girl is helping someone make a VR game and then she can't distinguish VR from reality.
That's the one you told me about, not the tapeworm.
I didn't tell you the tapeworm one?
No, because no wonder, because I was like, tapeworm. Maybe you told me.
Because the one I told you, that one that I told you about, she was like stuck in a loop.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't say I'm never going to read him again. It's not my preferred style of writing. I feel like it's too gross for me.
I get it. It's not for everyone.
So if someone does want us to read a specific story of him, I'll do it, but I won't.
I will say all of them are kind of low-key the same.
Yeah.
Where, like I said, it always starts with you thinking someone is disturbed, but then the other person is more disturbed than...
Oh, that kind of sucks, though, because now that you're aware of the style, it's not really a shock anymore.
Yeah. Kind of. Well, I'm always still shocked because I have one brain cell. I forget when I go into the.
So you just need time in between each Eric LaRocca story.
I don't think he has that many. I think he has like 6, and they're all pretty short. So that being said, what is your overall rating for this book?
I'm not doing the average because I don't have time for that. I think my overall rating would be like a high 3.
Mine's a 4. I feel like she deserves a 4.
Yeah.
To anyone who is listening to us in audio form, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or anywhere you get your podcasts on, thank you so much. If you can leave a rating of 5 stars, that would be amazing. It only takes like 2 seconds, and we really appreciate those who do it. It does help us get more exposure. That would be great. If you want to leave us a review recommending us our next read, we're finishing spooky season, so we don't need spooky books anymore. Please, literally anything else would be great. If you want to support us and you have a little bit of extra money, what can they do?
So we do have a Patreon, and it really just serves as a way for our listeners to let us know that you really enjoy our content. I mean, we do post twice a week for the most part. Sometimes we throw in a couple bonuses, rarely. But if you are interested, you can find us on patreon.com/bookfix. But if you don't want the commitment of monthly, then you can find us on buymeacoffee.com/thebookfix or coffee, which is ko-fi.com/thebookfix.
If you are watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. If you can like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because we post every Tuesday and Thursday, along with other days when there's special occasions. If you want to follow us and support us on social media, we do have a Instagram, Goodreads, and a Threads at the Bookfix Pod.
And a Fable now.
And a Fable at the Bookfix Pod. And we also have a TikTok at the Bookfix. Thank you. So why don't we read reviews about this book? Which one do you want to do?
I don't know. What do you want?
I'll do positive.
Okay. So my review comes from Shanice. They gave it 1 out of 5 and they wrote, I felt that this book was written just for shock value. I can appreciate a good short story that draws you in, creates a small world, and ends with some mystery. However, these characters have very little development and there is very little reasoning given as to the choices that they make within their stories. It seems that the events that occur are written for shock value as opposed to actually being actions that the characters would actually take. There is no rationale for some of the things that happen. I would not recommend.
It's gone.
I was like, how did you keep that in?
It's gone now. This comes from Meek, who gave it a 5 out of 5. That last scene in that last story, bitch. Thank you so much for listening.
With an emoji, right?
Yeah. The
head exploding.
Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time.
Bye. Dude. We are so close.
Dude, there's one I really want to talk about.
We're so close to the finish line.
Of horror stories?
Of the horror stories.
I've loved every bit of it.
Cue the montage.
Of just my face, like I'm disgust.
There's one. Disappointed.
There's one in this whole bulk that we're about to talk about soon that fucked me up. And we're almost there. So, I'm excited.
I mean, out of the two, okay.
You can guess.
Not much happened in Graveyard, so I would be shocked if it's that one.
Graveyard's kind of scaring me.
Is it not?
Talk about it later.
Okay.